That's a library right here. Used to be like the computer rooms. I'm talking about this thing's still the same. Then we used to go in here with art. No art downstairs. Nah, this is my middle school. Yep. That was our practice field. This is when I first started playing tennis at. And then that's the football practice field right there. Going to the gym. Here you go, right here. Look, this thing big, too. Huh? They ain't changed them backboards, still got them wood backboards up there. I see they painted the bleachers. Sweet. You see what Daddy started at? Huh? You see what Daddy started at? Hey, being in these hallways, and I always had a dream, and my dream was to make it as far as I can and get to the NBA. So I put in the work and the time to get there. So it's just all my hard work that paid off, and it just led me to here.
You know, Monta, we're here at Rowan Middle School where you walked these hallways and got whoopings by the principal. Did you know that one day that we would be back here, talking about how great Monta Ellis, was?
I didn't imagine being here, but I did know that one day I was gonna get interviewed, because I set my mind and I applied myself and I put in the time and the work for me to become the player that I was, and was able to fight off all the distraction that was around me and still be able to focus and get there. So I always knew it, that I was gonna be here one day. I didn't know we was gonna be at Rowan doing it though.
Let's dig a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper into that thought process. Mm-hmm. When exactly, how old were you when you realized, man, I'm kind of special. I got a real shot at this thing?
I never looked at myself for being special because I had to work. So my oldest brother, Antoine, played basketball before me. He played with Billups and I was the ball boy. So he inspired a lot into me. So only thing I did was just train, play basketball. And so the more I did that, the better I got. When I got into high school is when I decided to separate myself, because, I seen a couple guys coming out of high school like Travis Outlaw, Al Jefferson, and those guys. And I was like, hey, if they can go to the league out of high school and out of where they from, then I can do the same thing. So what I did was I just worked, just continued to work, and it just paid off. I didn't think I was special. I had to work. Like really had to work.
Speaking of your high school, as you dip in, because those guys definitely were great players. Who in the city of Jackson did you say, man, I got to really bring my A game in high school? Who was somebody that you said, man, I got to, he coming at me tonight? Or, who were a couple guys in the city? I ain't never view nobody like that. When I came, we just had a lot of good basketball. It was a lot of teams that when you play, you had to bring your A game. Jim Hill, Forest Hill, Wingfield, Provine, Callaway, Merle. So every week that you played, it was gonna be an exciting game, especially around in the city in JPS, because we all played basketball in the summer, so it was more like a bragging type things. And so when the season came, everybody was
You know, we going at them, and then we was the powerhouse, so everybody wanted to beat us anyway. So everybody brought their A game against us. So only thing we had to do was just go out there and just play our game. It wasn't one person. I never try to go tit for tat with another player. I never been that player. I only worry about me and what I'm gonna do, and then man, with the team that I have, and we gonna go that way. I never just like, oh, I got to go. Nah, I never did. I just played basketball.
So okay, you know, I can't let that slide. I gotta go. I need you to give me you can't everybody got, because I was a hooper, you know, about 200 pounds ago. But so was there anybody like that? Like that you just?
That's why I said when we our biggest games was probably against Provine. Okay. I mean, but even with that, it wasn't one player. I've never looked at Provine and be like, oh, I'm playing against Charlie White and I gotta do it. I never looked at the game like that. It's it's another game. I know we got a tough opponent and they gonna come and hit us with everything they got, so we just gotta go play our game. I never go talk about me in the one-on-one. Nah, I never did that. But we had great games though.
What was some of the, when you think back, can you name maybe your top 3 games that you remember?
In high school?
Yeah, in high school. What would be in the JPS? Let's go JPS.
Yeah.
Then when you go,
in JPS, it was always Provine, number 1. Number 2, probably when I had 72 points against Greenwood.
Let's go back to that, because here's the thing. You know, that was very interesting to me. You go to a place, let's go back to the first game. You had 65 against Greenwood.
Yeah.
Where was that game at?
Lanier.
Okay, so that was at Lanier. So you had 65. So now the next game is at Greenwood.
Yep.
So I know they had to be thinking, dude, you ain't getting no 65 this time. Talk me through both of those games and what was being said, and then how in the world you scored 72 points in a 32-minute game?
All right, well, the first game we was at home, the first half, I had 15 points in the first half. And the coach, and then we was only up probably maybe 6 or 8 at the time. And their coach was, I'm talking about, he was geeked, he was fired up. And when I'm going to the locker room, it's like how Lanier is. If you walk into the back, you go into the locker room. Our locker room is to the right, the visitor locker room to the left. But you have to pass each other to go into the locker room. Well, the coach stood out in the hallway while his players, all of them had went in, and I'm walking back, me, Coach Billups, and Coach James. And he was standing in the hallway, just was yelling to his players inside. I told y'all, he put his pants on just like we. He human just like we are. And I just walked past him, I said, we'll see second half. So then, when they go in the second half, then I just snapped. So I ended up having 50 in the second half. So when we go to Greenwood, I think a couple days later, because I think we played them first on a Tuesday and then ended up playing them again on Friday in the same week. So when we go down there, they crowd already talking to us. You ain't gonna get 65 today. You might get 17. I told them which quarter. So at that time, this chitter chat had already talked. So at this time, now I'm like, all right, I got to do something. Then on top of that, I had got a tip that I had 3 NBA scouts in the building. So I was like, okay. When I first came out the first half, what people don't know is I was in foul trouble. So the first half, the end of the second quarter, I set out maybe the last 2 minutes in the first half. And then I came back out the second half. Coach Billups was like, if you're gonna break the record, go and break it. Don't be playing around. He was like, if you're gonna play around, then I'll just take you out. So then I just got serious and did that, and then he took me out towards the end. That was it.
72 points. Now back then, I don't know, the 3-point was around 2, right? Mm-hmm. How many threes you had a game, you remember?
I think 13.
So when the game was over, those same people, what was the react? Like, what was the buzz like? What was the?
Oh, that changed. The whole gym changed by then. By the time when I was doing all, now everybody on my side. Every time I make it, you'll think I was at home. So it had changed. I changed the whole narrative of that whole thing.
When you look back at your career, your overall career, is that one of your, is that in your top 5 moments as individual moments, as far as, something you did in the game?
I'll say that. It definitely. I can't see anything higher than that besides, state championship. But other than that, I mean, I could put it up there because everybody keep talking about it. Everybody keep talking about it. So every time they see me, that's the only thing everybody want to talk about. That 72-point game. So yeah, I would put that one up.